Hey guys, so my name is Alex, and this is Morris. I'm math and physics.
I'm engineering, electrical engineering.
Okay. So everybody, each one of you sitting in this room, has an idea. I have an idea to start a cookie business. I have an idea to make better shorts. I see Uber. I'm like, hey, I wish Uber would deliver my Uber Eats on drones. We all have ideas, but the problem comes when our ideas needs to be created into products, right? And moreover that, young entrepreneurs need to ship this product. And the problem comes where, especially in this world where we're really trying to empower young entrepreneurs to build out their products, and we live in this world that we all need to take action and we need to build the future, right? And there's so much friction in terms of young people going and starting first. There's that friction from starting with your idea, then turning it into a product, then distributing it and shipping it to real people and real users. And this is a real problem. From the three main problems that we came across when we were researching was money, and from our own experience. I have ideas, but I ask myself, where's the friction of me going and starting and building that new app, building that new product, creating that banana chip business and whatever. And there are three main realizations. One, money. We lack access to the best funding resources that are on a seed or like grant or angel-based level, right? Then information. We lack the right sort of information for experts. I'm a first year and I barely have any clue about like what I want to do or whatever. So, and we also lack expertise, right? So if I want to go start a rocket business tomorrow, I don't know enough physics. I don't know enough rocketry. I don't know, and I don't have the right network to go do that, right? And this is a massive problem, especially for young people. And our goal is to empower young people. And introducing the product CoachMe. CoachMe is a tool, a mentorship tool, built on AI, to empower you to accelerate your entrepreneurial journey by 3x. And the main value prop here comes from mentorship. So this is personalized AI mentorship based on real individuals and industry experts. So this is we'll show you the pictures of all the experts we're doing around. And these are vector embed fine-tuned models of these experts. So their blogs, their podcasts, their books, their frameworks, their decision-making skills, how they go about and think and solve these decisions in these specific industries. With their years of expertise. Why would you want to start from zero when you could accelerate this by already knowing? So we go through the decision-making, then step-by-step roadmap. So I'm lost when I start a new project too. I'm like, hey, where exactly do I start in this? Who do I talk to, right? And also personalized resources from. So also one other fact is that from research from YBI, it's an international organization for youth in business, they found that with just small-scale mentorship, people, 74% of young entrepreneurs were more likely to go start their business, and they were more confident. And having industry experts, our thing is that having industry experts would accelerate this. And so basically
how this type will work is that we will get multiple data points from sources like podcasts or tweets, blogs, and Y Combinator or whatever. And then we will use that data point to train a fine-tuned model that will respond to user inputs and give user advices and specific pieces of information that they need for whatever idea they have.
So it's a combination of not just the people, but also the right thing. So companies like Y Combinator, A16Z, BDC, Futurepreneur, and the government of Canada has opportunities, programs out there, blogs, and all these things specific for young people that we don't know about. I didn't know Futurepreneur had that 20 grand loan for side hustles and where it's very simple, and none of us really know about this, and it's all funded by the government, and government has set out incentives, but people are not being able to see it, right? And we also have combined that with expert knowledge, and we turn that into a product.
Yeah. So these are the people that we plan to like integrate into the language model. Like we have like tech entrepreneurs and like industry leaders, and that we can use the knowledge to provide users.
It's specific to each industry. So for personal health and development, we have Andrew Huberman and Warren Buffett for long-term financing. We have creator economy with Jimmy Donaldson and Naval Radicrat, OpenAI, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, healthcare professionals, Mark Zuckerberg, and World Health with Melinda Gates. Yeah.
So as in the text side of things, the users will input text on SMS message, and then it will be processed through a server, and then through that server we will give it to the OpenAI API, and then it will feed it into the fine-tuned model. So and then the response will be provided by the SMS message like this.
Yeah. So we wanted to make it as frictionless as possible. One of the things this whole thing could be ruined by just talking to ChatGPT. That's the one other thing you could say. But the problem is, how can we make this as frictionless as possible to contact just a phone number? We have the phone number, it just isn't, server isn't running today. But you could just text a phone number and they're right there. And you pick the person and you just chat with them. And yeah. And in terms of our monetization model, we want to just make it free for now to test how many people use it. And we tested this in a small scale, and we found a lot of people use it daily. And our goal is to get daily users rather than a lot of things. The main cost for us is basically fine-tuning these people, and that costs a lot and for each person. But when we have that initial investment done, I think we could survive on, let's say, a $2 subscription per month, and also 20 free messages, and that's fine per user. So we want to retain as many users as possible. And with the funding, our plan is to use it for OpenAI and Twilio API, and yeah, it costs a lot to fine tune these models, and that's what and with you joining us, judges, and all you folks, and we can empower everyone, every young person to be entrepreneurs and create the future of tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As always, we'll start with the judge Q&A.
Who is your ideal customer?
So the ideal customer is pretty much a young person, a wantrepreneur, not a person who is already with 10 years of experience in the industry. That could apply as well, but we're specifically targeting me, him, and every first year kid. So no expert knowledge, they don't know where to start, but have this idea. We don't want to let that curiosity die, right, sort of thing.
All right, I'll go next. Now, it's interesting you brought up Futurepreneur, because I am a mentor at Futurepreneur. So if I was to mentor this business, and let's say that there's 500,000 grant money seated there, how would you rationalize this business model? Now, I know you spoke a lot about AI and how you're going to integrate it, how you're going to make it free. But when you look at that bigger picture, your business model canvas, you look at resource feasibility, a bit about marketing, a bit about your logistics, and how do you explain that in a very simplistic, flow manner?
Customer acquisition is definitely the hardest part, and a lot of that is going to be a lot of initial investment, and that's where we would need to raise money. And also we're hoping for creator-driven growth and user-driven growth. So when I find a really good tool that's helping me, especially in entrepreneurship, I go tell my friend, because that's sort of what I do. And we want to, the next step of this would be to create this community of people as well. But yeah, in terms of business model, I think our goal first is to really validate this idea and see the initial like hockey stick growth, then we are, we gotta, it's true that we need to think of a better way to monetize it on a better level and to like capture value other than like, yeah.
So, like 30 seconds ago, I opened ChatGPT and asked it to build me a plan to launch a startup, and it gave me a pretty detailed 10-point process. I can ask more questions. How do you see yourself differentiating? I mean, I know you've got, training data on Elon Musk, but ChatGPT is trained on the entirety of the internet or something like that. Why would someone choose to go this route as opposed to an existing AI model for mentorship and advice?
Okay, so 2 points to that. So one, newer models these days are coming out with small language models where it's validated, it's constrained to this data, so it doesn't make, we're not allowing it to make guesses or estimate outside of this thing. And the problem with large language models is that if you ask it a specific question about a specific industry deep enough, it lacks knowledge there. And that's what we've sort of found. And even in the larger scheme of things, we still don't know what we're trained on, right? So the combination, and it's also an estimating what the right word after that is supposed to be, right? So is that the right approach that we should be listening to in terms of advice, or the industry expert who's done this? And also we constrain the knowledge to only their things, right? We're not, that's what we're trying to go for here.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Okay, and now we'll open just for 1 or 2 on questions.
Would you expect your customer to ask your phone number? What would your customer text? What would they seek guidance?
Yeah, pretty much anything from the beginning of your process. So, for example, Morris here wants to start a bicycle business, right? And it's a physical location. And now he asked, hey, how do I start this business? I have no clue. I've never done real physical products. And first, it would guide you towards not like the real essential things, not a giant business plan or whatever, only if you're like pitching that to like some organization to grant you. But ideally, we go for how to quickly get started. So we need manufacturers. If you want to validate the idea, you have to put together a bicycle and test it. If you're custom bikes, people would buy it actually, right? Then it tells you step by step, not like a giant list of things that overwhelms you, just like, hey, so the first step to start this would be to do this step and validate your idea, then see if your idea actually works, right? So anywhere in the business process, but we're focusing early on the early development as an entrepreneur. Oh, there's another question.
You showed a slide of all the people from different fields.
Oh, yeah.
Just about that, like how do you decide on how do you choose only those people or there are many more? How do you base
Yeah, so we didn't quite think deep into it. We just like top industry experts. Yeah, we have the dean of engineering here because he has a lot of content out there as well. So anybody, industry expert, top level, who has enough content out there that we could train on them. That's the main problem, access to their brain. So, and the problem with, I forgot to talk about this, the problem experts have, they want to do this impact and give back to the entrepreneurs and everything. The problem is they don't have time. If you've heard Naval Radekrat talk, he talks about how he optimizes his time to be the most impact driven. So he only goes on the biggest podcast because that's the most accessible to everyone, right? And that's the main problem for these top-notch mentors. Whereas like 1 level, 2 level mentors, they still don't have like that expertise in the bigger picture.
I just have a quick question. So you're using AI to replicate the ideas of a lot of really high up people with a lot of money with legal teams. So what is your proposal to get them on board and get them to be okay with you having something that replicates what they're saying, but might say things that they don't agree with?
Yeah, so ideally, not ideally, first of all, we disclose everywhere this is AI, not the real person. Second, from a few of the entrepreneurs here, they've definitely talked about this alternate version of themselves that you could talk to, and other people have it, and it's not a problem for them, especially the tech people at least, and especially for some people, I guess, who don't want their identities to be like, yeah, what was it called when you defamation? Yeah, who don't want defamation on themselves, we will remove it. It's not like we're forcing the person to be here, but it's also we're disclosing certainly that this isn't the real person and it's just a mentorship, and yeah.